immediate action, our planet, Earth, will become a deadly smog ball that chokes out all human life.
Global warmist fearmongers now blaming the Philippines typhoon disaster on climate change.
Oh, somebody please think of the children!
Is there no depth they won't sink to?
It looks like tomorrow I'll be shoveling 10 feet of global warming.
Global warming can cause weather at both extremes, hot and cold.
I see, so you're saying warming makes it colder. Well, aren't you the queen of crazy land?
Most wisdom is to be found in episodes of The Simpsons. Now, what is happening in the Philippines is quite horrible, and crazy, nasty, bigoted old types like us, we're raising money in our churches to send there, and awful horrible countries like Israel and Canada are going out there with aid, trying to help people. But really, we should know the really clever, hip, intelligent people, they're just making lots of noise about this all being due to climate change, global warming, and awful human beings. Tom Harris, International Climate Science Coalition in Ottawa, joins us. Tom, it is actually, I find it deeply offensive that when thousands of people are losing their lives and losing everything, seeing their families disappear, that extremists are saying this is all because of politics and our own behavior.
Well, I guess it is because of politics and our own behavior and that they didn't prepare properly. President Aquino of the Philippines is really criticizing local authorities for not getting ready properly for this typhoon, which was, of course, a very big typhoon. It was the 4th strongest from a wind speed point of view in history, but the 12th strongest when you come to pressure. You see, what happened is they moved 1 million Filipinos into evacuation areas that were not properly built, and they fell down, and so thousands of people died. And yet, a few years earlier in Australia, a similar event happened, but because Australia has far more money to build, evacuation shelters, nobody died. So, and yeah, it is our cause. We caused the deaths because we didn't prepare properly. But the idea that we can stop it is science fiction.
This is very interesting because certainly there are issues of economic justice. Some countries can't prepare and don't prepare properly. That's a valid point. But as I read history and countries like the Philippines and so many others, the way they have stood up to terrible natural disasters has changed over the years, but they've always, this is the consistent factor, they've always had to stand up to natural disasters. It hasn't got better or worse, it's always been a problem.
Well, that's right. In fact, the storm surges, which is what kills most of the people, it's the flooding afterwards. These storm surges can be incredible. For this particular typhoon, it was 4 to 6 meters, which sounds like a lot until you see when the records were set. The records were set in the 1800s at 13.6 meters. Okay, so this was not even a large typhoon from the point of view of storm surge, although it was large, just nothing like we had in the 1800s.
Mm. Well, you may be an expert, but you've never appeared in a major movie, and you don't have women, swooning all over the place like George Clooney does. What, I wonder, would George Clooney have to say about all of this?
Well, actually,
no, hold on. It's a clip. Yeah.
Well, it's just a stupid argument. I mean, whether or not this particular storm is anyone, if you have 99% of doctors who tell you are sick and 1% that says, you're fine, you probably want to hang out with them, check it up for the 99, you know what I mean? The idea that we ignore it, that we're in some way involved in climate change is ridiculous. What's the worst thing that happens? We clean up the earth a little bit and I find this to be the most ridiculous argument ever.
And you have to be right, because you can read lines that other people have written in front of a camera and earn hundreds of millions of dollars doing it. That's him, Tom, responding directly to those people who say what's happening in the Philippines has nothing to do with our behavior. It's nothing to do with global warming.
Well, yeah, I'm sad about that because George Clooney did a fabulous job in the movie Gravity, which I saw just the other day. So I was a fan of his, and when I clicked on the video to see what he was saying, I was very disappointed because, it is true that there are enormous consensus in the energy community that if we follow the climate scare to its conclusion, we're going to turn off all of our fossil fuels. Right now, the United States gets 40% of its electricity from coal, and this is a piece of coal, bituminous coal from Kentucky. Obama wants to stop stop that industry completely, okay, and eventually, of course, it'll be natural gas and oil, because he thinks that we can stop extreme weather and other kinds of things from happening. So indeed, there are going to be lots of people that suffer in the future, not because of any climate change we cause, but because the price of electricity is going to go through the roof. This is going to hurt many poor people. Not George Clooney, but it's going to hurt many poor people. So that's, one of the consequences of this ridiculous belief that we are the master controllers of the universe. We have to focus on adaptation, not trying to stop it.
Yeah. It's interesting when you said you were disappointed because he was very good in Gravity. Look, I rather like his work as an actor. Sometimes it's not bad at all, sometimes it's trash. But there are all sorts of actors whose work I enjoy. But I'm not going to ask them to God forbid, help me, if I'm diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
They're actors. But he will no more say global warming is untrue than he'll, oppose same-sex marriage. There are certain sacraments in Hollywood today, and one of them is embracing man-made global warming. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.